Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into the future of hospice care, and let me tell you, it's a field being pulled in some really different directions all at the same time. So, let's jump right in.
End-of-life care is something that's going to touch pretty much all of us eventually, but what you might not know is that right now, behind the scenes, there's this quiet battle raging over what that care is actually going to look like. So today, we're going to pull back that curtain and really look at the powerful and often invisible forces that are shaping the entire hospice industry.
And believe it or not, the future of this very personal experience is being decided in three very different places. You've got the halls of Washington, the trading floors of Wall Street, and maybe most importantly, in our very own local communities. We're going to see how these three worlds are clashing and connecting to create the future of hospice care.
Okay, so first, let's head over to Washington, because right now there's a massive policy battle going on. And the outcome of this fight? Well, it's going to define everything. Who gets care, what kind of care they get, and, this is the big one, who's going to pay for it? So, right at the center of this whole debate is a bill called the Hospice Care Access Act. On the surface, it sounds pretty straightforward, right? It would just require all Medicare Advantage plans to include hospice as a regular benefit. Simple. But oh boy, as you're about to see, the reality is anything but simple.
And this is really where you see the two sides digging in. On one hand, you have folks who say, hey, let's do this. Integrating hospice into Medicare Advantage just streamlines everything, makes it simpler for people. But then on the other hand, you've got opponents raising some pretty serious red flags. They're worried it could actually mess with the continuity of care, limit a patient's choice of who they see, and just put way too much pressure on the existing system.
And look, this isn't just some abstract, theoretical argument. We're talking about real industry groups, like the Texas-New Mexico Hospice and Palliative Care Organization, who are actively fighting this bill. And they've got support from both sides of the aisle in Congress, which tells you just how significant this is.
So while all this is getting debated in Washington, you have to remember there are real people right now who are already feeling the financial squeeze. I mean, for patients on ACA Marketplace plans, the out-of-pocket costs for this kind of care can be absolutely staggering. It's a tough reminder of the financial pressure that's already out there.
All right, now let's shift gears from policy in Washington to the money on Wall Street, because all these pressures are having a huge, dramatic impact on the actual business of hospice care.
Yeah, the market right now is really a tale of two cities. It's in this constant state of flux. At the very top, you're seeing these huge corporate deals happening. But down on the ground at the local level, a lot of providers are just fighting to survive. And a perfect example of this is the recent Optum-Amedisys deal. So you've got Optum, which is part of the insurance giant United Health Group, buying up a huge home health and hospice provider. I mean, this is a massive deal with what people are calling far-reaching implications. It's a huge step toward vertical integration. Think about it. The same company that insures you could also be the one providing your end-of-life care. That changes things.
And this is what's creating those two completely different realities I was talking about. You've got these huge companies getting bigger and bigger, expanding their services, launching new facilities. And at the exact same time, you have smaller local hospices that are being forced to shut down programs or even close their doors for good, simply because they can't handle the financial pressure.
But while the suits in Washington and on Wall Street are battling it out, there's a whole other story unfolding on the ground. Let's talk about the innovation happening at the human level with technology and community.
And technology is really changing the game here. One of the most powerful tools being used to make the patient experience better, and you might not expect this, is virtual reality. Yeah, VR. We're not talking about video games. We're talking about using tech to create really profound human connections. People are literally calling it a game changer. Think about it. Hospices are using VR to let patients revisit a favorite beach or maybe see their childhood home one last time. They get to go on adventures they can't physically take anymore. It's about creating these beautiful, powerful last memories, and it helps not just the patient, but the whole family.
But innovation here isn't just about cool tech and gadgets. It's really about people. There's this huge push toward getting back to basics. Deeper community engagement, building trust, and making sure care is really rooted in understanding the person.
So for example, there's a really interesting pilot program in Illinois. What they're doing is training community health workers, people who are already known and trusted in their neighborhoods, to help with advanced care planning. The whole idea is to build that relationship and have those tough conversations before there's a crisis. It just makes the whole transition to hospice so much smoother for everyone involved.
And this kind of community support, it can have a massive real-world impact. Just look at what happened in Texas. A grassroots effort there raised an incredible $2.7 million.
And that money isn't going into some corporate merger or a stock buyback. No way. It's going directly into building a new hospice house that's going to provide free end-of-life care for the most vulnerable people in Dallas-Fort Worth. I mean, that's innovation driven by pure compassion, not profit.
Okay, so we've seen the policy battles, the market pressures. So what's the path forward? What are the key things we need to watch?
So really, if you take one thing away from this, it's that hospice care is caught in this massive tug-of-war between three huge forces. You've got the policy battles in D.C. changing the rules. You've got the market pressures from Wall Street creating this world of giants and, well, everyone else. And then you have these amazing human-centered innovations trying to keep the focus on what really matters, compassionate care.
And for the folks actually doing the work, the nurses, the caregivers, none of this is abstract. It all translates into real-world deadlines and paperwork, a constant stream of administrative headaches that just adds another layer of stress to an already incredibly difficult job.
Which really leaves us with the big final question, doesn't it? As these massive forces of policy and big business try to reshape the system from the top down, can these small-scale, human-centered innovations that are bubbling up from the grassroots, can they really be enough to secure the future of compassionate care? Because how we answer that, well, that's going to define the end-of-life experience for all of us.